She's escaped Gilead, but has she found freedom? With me today, Dowd, otherwise known as Aunt Lydia, and Whitney Cummings, a writer, producer, and performer who loves the show possibly as much as I do. Okay, Whitney, let's start with you. This is a huge question. It has a lot of different entry points. Is June free after what we've just watched?
I hope this isn't a hot take, but my answer would be absolutely not. Unless she's able to get a lobotomy, which I'm sure Gilead provides. But I think something that this show does so well and so fearlessly and so, in such a challenging way is there's no happy endings in trauma like this.
Well, I think Whitney said it perfectly. Once you go through that level of trauma, you really are never free. And the fact that her daughter is there, no.
Even if they do all get out, I feel like she's the kind of person who still won't be free because she's going to want revenge.
And I feel like that theme is so present this season. But I want to go back to earlier in that episode, that heartbreaking moment where her friend sees her and she can't believe it's her, and Moira's saying, June, it's me, it's me. How much in that moment do you think that June's inability to recognize her friend was about her quite literal injury that she had, her head's bleeding, but also maybe her mind just isn't letting her have solace?
Well, I think it's a combination of complete and utter shock, physical and emotional. Surreal is kind of a boring word, but I don't think she can put it into what is real.
It's something we've been looking forward to for years, and yet it felt so scary for me.
When I first saw that scene, I was like, oh, she's disassociating because she's so traumatized. And then, I went back and looked at it again, and I was like, oh, no, all she sees is you're not Hannah. Like, she's in such a primal mode of mama bear mode of getting her child. And I think in that moment, because she had just survived death, it was just like all about getting Hannah, and nothing else existed.
No, that's very true. And Whitney, I wanted to ask you, that moment where we see June hesitating to get off the boat, where all she has to do is put a foot on dry land and she will be free. What do you think she's thinking in that moment? And what is causing that hesitation? Because obviously, we don't even know how much she really knows about where she is because of her head injury. But what do you think is driving that reluctance in that moment for her?
I mean, it is incredible, Elizabeth Moss's ability to say so much with one sneaker. like her just stepping onto the pavement, she's able to express so many feelings and emotions.
No, it's true. It's true.
Stepping on, the ground in Canada is in one way giving up, but in another, it's the beginning of justice. I think she is exhausted and injured, but a part of her knows there is more to do.
I think June was ready to die for this. Like,
really?
She's already, the fact that she keeps surviving, she's like, great, now, every time she escapes death, I think in her mind, it's just, the only reason I just escaped death was to go get my child back. I don't think she's already sort of given up on, I think in terms of her losing her life, she said on the boat, just turn me in, my life is not more valuable than anyone else's. I mean, she's even martyred herself in moments like that, almost saying, I don't want to go back to Canada if it's not with my kid. To her, Canada is just further from Hannah in a way, and closer to disappointing Luke. So that's what I felt sort of in her performance there. It wasn't this triumphant, victorious homecoming.
In the moment, she may prefer death, but that's only then. She is used to, that is not the only reality, that is not the only moment.
And we see in this episode, too, the question being posed to June of what would it take for her to be able to put Gilead behind her forever?
I think that she will never be able to. I think that this show does not let you ever go, well, that's water under the bridge. It forces you to look at trauma and the indelible impact that has on them forever. And I think she's always going to have guilt about what happened, and her telling the eyes where the handmaids were because Hannah was in the glass. I don't know if I don't think June's the kind of person who will ever be able to forgive herself for that.
Right.
Trauma, though I agree, never leaves the body. We can learn how to move forward in a way that involves peace and occasional joy and purpose. And so June's normal will never be our normal. Now, that'll take a lot for June, but Luke is pretty strong. So there's always hope and a sense of realistic, yes, I can this. And here's how, when I am completely off my baseline and into the terrors of Gilead and the rage, here's how I can slowly, carefully come back to that part of me that can never be destroyed. And that is joy, love, and some sense of peace.
I feel better already just hearing you say that.
She's so resilient.
She really is.
She's so resilient. She will do whatever she has to do to be the best mom. So yeah, I do see her being super, resilient, but I'm so excited to see what happens with when they address like the fact that Nicole is not Luke's. I just think if Luke's okay with maybe Nick coming to live with them in Canada and they can kind of have a commune and all be together.
No, that ain't happening. No. I wouldn't count on that.
I know.
Maybe that's generational, hun. I like your open mind. I would poison him personally if I were Luke, but by all means, knock yourself out. It's a good story. Go for it.
Well, I want to thank both of you for giving us so much to think about and really talking about important issues that are central to the show, but I think that mean a lot to people too. So I want to thank you both for your wisdom.
Thank you all so much. What a pleasure.
Thank you for making the show, you guys.
And that's all for us today. Please head on over to Twitter and use the hashtag #OneBurning and tell us if you believe June can ever really be free of Gilead. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.